Hello and welcome to another tutorial from digitalrgb.com. My name is Tony Richardson, and today we're going to learn how to create this, a CSS styled menu. Now today we're actually going to go through creating this entire header, and as you can see, this is a rather simple site, and simple sites are often underestimated. When a client comes to your site, they want to learn more about you, your products, your services, or if you own a business, they're going to look for maybe a way to contact you. And the easier they can navigate through your site, the better off for both you and them. So I really recommend creating something simple that is easy to use and easy to navigate through. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off. Now this is what I was just showing you right here. But we're going to start off, we're going to create a new HTML document. And no matter what you're using, I'm using Dreamweaver CS6. It's probably going to create the basic introduction to that particular page. First thing you're going to want to do is, if it's your home page, you're going to want to title it. So this was Spark Ideas, and being that it's the home page, I usually do something like this. Alright, so that's the title, and you can put it right here between the title, or in this particular software you can type it right here and it changes it. Now the most important part about a website is between these two tags right here, the body. You hear a lot of talk about meta and metadata, but really Google and other search engines are so intuitive. This is really what's the most important, what's between these two tags right here. What we're going to do is we're going to insert a new div tag, and it's going to be at the insertion point in between the body. We're going to use an ID, not a class, and think of IDs as boxes. ID divs are squares with 4 sides. Think of them like that. A class is really a way to affect something, make it look a little different. That's the best way to describe it at this time. So we're going to call this the main wrapper. We're going to create a new CSS rule, and if we put it in this document only, it would wind up here in the meta area, or in between the head tags, and it would just clutter all this up, and it would only work for the home page. Well, we want it to work for all the pages, so we're going to say create a new CSS style sheet. We're going to click OK. It's saying where do you want to put this, and we want it right here, and we'll call it style sheet. You're going to put this in the site root, so basically where your index, about page, all your main pages are, that's where the style sheet's going to be. And you can name it whatever you want. Style sheet's the most common. Now think, like I said, of div tags as boxes or squares. So in the box we're going to make it 1000 pixels wide, and normally I don't give it a height but just so I can have something, I'm going to make it 800 just so you can kind of see a box here. This is some general default text right here. We're going to get rid of that, and as you can see, my div box, my main wrapper, is aligned left. So we click in here, and you can edit it this way by going to box and changing the margins, or you can go inside your sheet, your style sheet right here, go ahead and click something like this, margin. You can do auto, and I just want to show you this. See, it does center it, and with a simple one line auto you can have that centered. But what I like to do, I'll go back to the source code, click in here. I like to be a little more specific, and this is a good way to code. Be very specific, because you never know what browser anything's going to be viewed in. So we're going to click auto for right and auto for left, or we're going to type that in, and there we go. It works like that. And if we go back to the style sheet, you can see that it put in margin right auto, margin left auto. So now we're going to insert a header, and make sure you click inside here, or a better way maybe to click between the two div tags. Insert new div, and let's call this a header wrapper. So this is going to contain everything that's inside the header. Alright, and we're going to click OK, and we'll make it 1000 pixels wide, and the height maybe 150. We'll click OK, and there we go. Now, you say, why didn't you center it? Well, it's 1,000 wide, and the wrapper that it's in is 1,000 wide, so obviously it's going to be wedged between there, and the outside wrapper is centered, so we don't need to do anything. And if we did, even if we did, nothing would change. So now we're inside the header wrapper, and I want to add that logo that you saw. So we're going to click Insert Image, and it's right here. Now, this is a JPEG. It has white background, and since our background's white, this will work. But I do always create a PNG in case the background, you want to see through to the background, maybe has a texture or something neat behind it. Usually when I'm creating logos, I create both. So since it's white, we'll just use that. Alternate text, that's in case the image doesn't load. What is it going to say? You can put logo in here, or actually when you hover over it, you're going to see this text pop up. So I don't really put anything in there because it doesn't much matter. Now sometimes you can code this you can link it right here to go back to the home page. A lot of people do that. We want to affect this. We want to bump it down a little bit, maybe over to the right a little bit, a few pixels. Now, how do we do that? Well, we'll have to somehow write a rule to get this image tag inside the header wrapper or main wrapper, or we can create a logo wrapper. So if I click here, put Insert Div Tag, it's going to give me the option to wrap around the selection, which is what I'll do. And I'll create a logo wrapper. Logo wrapper, there we go. New CSS rule. Now I can make it the exact size of the logo, which I think is 410 by 96, or I can make the height 150 because I know it's going to be the entire height. And if I do that, let me just show you this. So 410 by 150, we're just going to leave it like that. Click OK. Now here's the issue. If I want to bump this down, and I can use a couple different methods. I can use the margin, so I can go top 25 and click apply, but as you see, it went below here, so I'm gonna have to take some off the height here, and I can do it that way, or I can use padding on the inside. And if I use padding, here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll use padding. We'll say 25. I still have to take some off the height. So padding's the inside, margin's the outside. So padding, I'm pushing the logo down. Well, margin, the logo is in the box, and I'm pushing the box down with the logo in it. So margin pushes the outside, padding pushes the inside. So if we leave it this way, and maybe 10 pixels on the left, we got 410. Click OK. Oh, we never changed the height. So we'll go back in here. We'll go the height. 125, click OK, and there we go. So now we have, if we click our margin, or our wrapper, we can see the padding on the inside here. So that's our logo wrapper with 25 pixels down and 10 pixels to the left. So now, being that this is 410, this logo, and we have 10 pixels, that makes it 420 pixels. So whatever is going to be on the right here, it can't go past that. It's 1000 minus 420. So that's going to be the maximum that we can have for whatever goes in here, which we'll go ahead and insert a new div tag, and we'll call this the address wrapper. Click new CSS rule, and let's see. You know what? I think we just clicked inside this logo wrapper, and that's important. Even though I tried to click inside there, it's always good to look at your line here. I'll show you what to do with that. We'll go ahead and let's see, how wide are we going to make this? We'll make it 550 pixels wide. Let's see, and we'll make it 75 pixels tall. We'll click OK and OK. Now it is inside there, so here's what we're going to do. We'll get rid of the default text. Alright, and then we'll grab this right here and Control or Command X. And then once again, if I click right here, see, it's still in there. This div is the div for that logo wrapper. So I need to be on the outside, and I'll I'll enter one space down and Control or Command V, and there we go. Now it's outside. Now it looks like it's outside the header. It actually is still inside. If you click the header, you see it's still inside there, right here. That's the address wrapper. It's still inside this div, but why is it down? Well, why is it underneath here? I'll tell you why. Because we need to tell this wrapper and this wrapper to float to their respective size. So logo wrapper, we go to box and we're going to float left, and then that obviously is saying, okay, we're going to think of it as coming off the page and scooting over to the right. It gives anything margin, so this one can now go underneath it, or on top of it rather. And this box we're going to float right, so the address wrapper. And I do think of them, like I said, in terms of boxes. And I made it this wide because if I didn't, and I tried to put my menu wrapper down here, it would fit in the center. And these are things you got to play with. You kind of got to look at them and then see what's you know, the best method for maneuvering them around. We have 3 things inside of here. We need one here, one on top, and one on bottom. And there's no real easy way to get through it without a little trial and error. So inside the address wrapper, let's type our address, 1400 somewhere Lane, and that's in Lansing, Michigan, 48910. And let's type my phone number, which will be 517-555-1212, and we'll click. Oh, what happened? It's all in a straight line. Even though we're on different lines, we have straight lines. Why is that? Well, it reads the code as though it's linear, as though it's all in one line. So what we want to do is we want to put a break tag right here. There we go. Now, always, you can take this closing mark out and it'll still work, but I like to put it in. There's a bunch of debate about that online, but if you put it in, it's as though it's a closed tag. All browsers read that the same. So that's just the safest way to do it. And I just copied it and put it there. So now we're single space. If I put this in a paragraph, which would be this in a P in front of it and a slash P afterwards, or backslash P afterwards, so I'm closing that paragraph, it'll double space this, which, you know, is fine as well. Now, inside the wrapper, we want to affect the text. We want it to look a little better. So let's go Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, and let's make it a medium gray. How about that? Yeah, that looks good. Oh, and how about block, align, text align right? Now, you've got to get to it through block, but if you were typing it, it would just be text align right. It'd be, let's see, where is it? Right there. Text dash line right. So, and that's not bad. Now, let's push it down a little bit. We can use margin or pad. If we use pad, we've got to increase the size of the box. So margin is probably the easiest way to do this. We can drop it down 25 pixels. All right, looks pretty good so far. Now, right here, we will click on this and make sure we're still inside this div tag. I'll enter once and arrow up, and we will put our menu wrapper in. Menu, if I can spell menu, wrapper. Okay. Create a new CSS rule for this. And let's make this, we're not going to worry about the width. All right, we're going to let the menu dictate the width. However, the height, we'll say 35 for now. Okay. And we want it to, let's see, do we want it to float right or left? Well, if it's left, it'll be butted up here. Right, it'll be over here. So let's, this will be trial and error. I actually don't remember. I just took that content out. So let's go ahead and type in home, about, what, services, port, or we'll call projects, I think it was. Projects and contact. All right, so we've got all those words in there, and now we need to link them to somewhere. So I just double click and it'll highlight and go here to link, and this we're going to put index.html. Okay, so it's going to go to the index. About, this would be about.html. and services. All right, I'm just gonna put a number symbol just to make it a link. So that will obviously go nowhere. All right, there we go. Now we have links. Now, because of that, we need to, we've got a few things here. This menu wrapper, wow, that's all the way up there. That div wrapper, that menu wrapper is up there, even though the text is down here. So let's go menu wrapper. Let's see, box. What can we do? Can we float right? Let's look at that. Let's float right and see what happens. Now it's down here. So we'll click here and let's affect this anchor tag. This means anchor inside the menu wrapper. We have an anchor, a hyperlink reference, href, hyperlink reference to this link, to this page index. So, and then we close that anchor. So if we want to write a rule for it, we need to write one for anchor inside menu wrapper. So we'll click new CSS rule, and it's main wrapper, header wrapper, menu wrapper A. We can be a little less specific because there's only one menu wrapper, and we can say menu wrapper A, and it knows where it's going. It is a compound rule, and if I just clicked OK, but that drop down is not an ID, it's not a class, it's a compound. We want the font to be Arial and Helvetica. Let's do uppercase for everything, and we'll make it medium gray. Oh, that's a nice color, huh? And let's see, block. Let's display them. Now, first I'll click apply so you can see what happened. Okay, they're all underlined. So we'll go back to type, and even though underline's not clicked, it is a link, so that's by default. We'll put none for text decoration, and apply. That took care of that. Now we want them all in their own little boxes. The easiest way to do that without putting them in their own div is just display them as block. So display as block, and boom, there we go. We do want them centered in their blocks, and the reason that we want them centered in there is so that we can put some padding on each side, and they're centered, away from each other evenly. Now let's see what we got here. If we went to the box and we floated left, let's just look at that. Float left. All right, and let's see. Go back to the menu wrapper, and what if we floated that left? All right, there we go. Yeah, that's good. Now we got something going on here. So, but we need to put a little space between here, don't you think? So let's go back in the anchor. Let's tell this box to pad the top. Let's say 25 pixels, and click apply. That's not too bad. Although for some reason it looks like, let me click. Yeah, that looks like inside that menu wrapper there must have been a height defined. Oh yeah, that's why. All right, 35. We can go 40 there, or let's even go bigger. Let's 50. I'll just keep clicking apply until I figure that out. Yep, that's all the way to the bottom. Okay, good. So that was one thing that you got to watch out for going outside past when you have the padding. Same thing we had with the Spark Ideas logo. So we'll go back in here, which is an anchor, and if I'm moving too fast you could just pause it and look through. We need to pad each one of these, space them out a bit. So we'll go in the box, and on the right we'll say 15 and left 15. That basically puts 30 all the way around them, and there you go. Not too bad. If we wanted them to go down a little more, we could put 25 padding. We still got a little room. And what's nice is because we put display block, we don't have to worry about the box has no width or height. I mean, it's creating its own box because it's based on its menu wrapper A. It's based on the link. It's saying choose that link and create these rules, and we have display block, so we've made these boxes for each one of these, and now we can affect everything inside. So we've got it pretty good. Let's go ahead and take a peek at this. We'll preview, we'll save the changes. Untitled, we actually want index.html, and click OK, and some files. This is talking about the CSS. Do we need to save those? Yes, we do. And if we hover over it, we do have a link, although nothing's happening because we don't have any rule for what to do. First, let's go ahead and now we have our header wrapper. Outside of the header wrapper, we will insert a banner. And we'll click banner. We don't need any alternate text, and there we go. So now we have something nice there. And I am going to, let's see, what do we need to do? Oh, I know what we need to do. We'll create a new rule. Okay, we'll be less specific, and here's how you affect the hover state. Colon, type in hover, and that's that simple. Now, it is still a compound rule because we're saying, ooh, less specific. There we go. Didn't mean to do that. Hover. Okay, there we go. We need to, what do we need to do? We still want it, when we hover, we want it to stay Arial, and we just want it to get maybe a little lighter. How about that? And let's go ahead and take a peek at it. We'll save it. Yes, and oh, there we go. Nice. And there you have it. That's how you do it. And if we were to click home, it'd go to index, which is this, or about. We don't have an about page, so it would be an error right now. But you pretty much see how to create a CSS styled menu. Now what I would do here is create two divs, align this one or float this one left and float this one right, and maybe pad all the way around them, and this can be some more text, or you can create one big div and then just have a little padding all the way around, have a little bit more information on this page. And your about page, you can change the banner and reuse this exact template. You know, you can just keep on with all these ideas. Maybe this will spark an idea for you. All right, that was pretty dry there, wasn't it? Okay, this has been Tony Richardson with digitalrgb.com. Thanks.